What's going on, everyone? We are back.
We are back, baby, on this snowy, blizzardy, cold, freezing New York City day. I hope you guys are staying warm, and I hope you guys are, keeping up with everything that's going on. I know it's been crazy out there, but, come hang out with us and relax, and we'll have some good laughs here tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It is, I guess you would say, a blizzard, right? Is this considered a blizzard yet or no? What do you think? This storm.
I don't see any cars out there. People are pretty much inside. I would suggest you stay inside if you are in the area of the storm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're comparing it to storms that we had back in like 96.
It's like a trend, 2000,
right? And yeah, they were saying that like every 10 years or so we have a storm like this, this huge. I remember Snow Day. That was always fun as a child. I think they already told me they're going to remote learn tomorrow, so schools are closed here. Let the kids have fun. You have to be on the computer still, so it's still gonna happen.
They can't go out and play on the snow. Come on.
Let them have a snow day. Come on.
Give them a snow day.
That's snow fights,
But can they not afford a day for their teachers to not?
You know what it is? It's because they have so many added days off for new holidays. They have a lot of new holidays now. So it's become a problem if they have more days off because there's a maximum amount of days a year that they have to teach. So I get it though,
Yeah.
But I know a lot of parents are like, come on. We had it better sometimes in certain aspects. But
I got my coffee. You got your coffee?
I got my coffee.
We're gonna be drinking coffee on stream today because I know I need the energy. We have Zach Seif's
You said it correct.
broadcasts up and running now. So if you've missed it last week, be sure to check that out after our show. And it's everywhere now. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. We have highlights. NAMM is happening right now, which is awesome.
He went to NAMM. I don't think they do it on Sundays. I think it ends.
Was today the last day?
I think yesterday. I think he was mentioning that last time.
Jedd's like,
yeah,
today's the last day.
They don't do Sundays. So a lot of people are traveling in this weather. I hope you guys are safe. Be safe. Get home safe. And also another guest we had on the podcast last year performed at NAMM, and we're so proud of him.
Scott Yule.
Scott Yule. Amazing. It was really nice to see him. He was sharing clips and stories. He's going to have a whole vlog, I'm sure, because he's on YouTube. He's huge on YouTube. So if you guys are not following him, go check him out.
Check out his updates. I know he posted a bunch of reels and stories.
And he reviews a lot of amazing, everything. I think I got my in-ears suggested by him, and I love them.
Perfect in-ears.
Extreme.
Ultimate ears.
Yeah, because I always had a problem of my in-ears just popping out when I'm performing, and I'm always like this, and it's just such a distraction.
Yeah, Scott recommended that, and it was perfect.
Scott gave me the tip, and my son got me these as a present. And
Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Ultimate Ears. If you're listening to this, let's do some work together.
Yes. And so Zach was there, and he was showcasing some new traveling gear, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There was a lot of new road cases that has been developed. There was a lot of details that he had explained. I can't riff it off the top of my head right now, but you have to check out the podcast and the highlights we've been posting on our socials. That he explains what is the new stuff that is being presented at Quantum. So check those out.
Quantum Industries.
Yes.
Very cool. So today, guys, we have a very, very special guest. You want to introduce him?
Yeah. So we like to refer to him as JEDD, Joint Engine Deep Driver.
I wanted him to say that. That's why I said, you say it, you do it. Because he came up with the concept. And Jedd, he's amazing.
If you know, you know. If you've been watching our shows with Sky Museum and our skits and our developments, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. there's more information about that on our site at skymuseummusic.com. But
he's performed with us.
Yes,
And
he's played a few shows.
He's an incredible bassist and a pleasure to work with. Very professional, very fun, and extremely skillful, obviously.
So without further ado, let's get the man of the day, of the 2 hours, Mr. Jedd Chlebowski.
Are you ready for me, Jedd?
Rock and roll.
Let's do this.
Let's do this!
Live from YenYorkCity. Jedd.
Everybody in chat, Jedd.
Jedd. I swear I'm gonna make the crowd do that one time. One day I'm gonna do that because it just has to happen. Jedd, how are you?
Good. How we doing today, guys?
Amazing now that you're here. And I know where you're at, it's snowing too, so
Yep. A lot.
I hope you're keeping warm. Now that you're
Yes.
here, we get to talk to you. So guys, we've had the pleasure of performing with Jedd, but Jedd has worked with incredible people. Kenny Aronoff, for one. We saw Kenny in UK when we went to the drum show.
Yeah.
And right there, and man, he's worked with everyone.
Yes.
Everyone.
Including Jedd.
Including Jedd. So you have so many stories, so many things to share with us today. I'm completely excited to have you on tonight. And I got to thank you for giving us this time and space, because your space looks awesome, too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, my little humble area. It's over the years come up with some stuff. I had to clean it up a little bit. It was pretty cluttered before, but I cleaned some things up. So,
I like
I've
the
got
Buzz.
some cool stuff in here. Buzz and Woody's. Well, where is he? On this side,
Buzz
hanging over
Lightyear.
my
Oh,
head
yeah, I
there.
see it there,
Yeah, right above.
I had
That's
the-
my Rich Robinson poster that Woody's above, and next, obviously Jimmy, but right behind my head, I've got a signed Dweezil Zappa, and then off on the other side, next to the Rich Robinson poster, is Living Color, signed by all of them. So yeah,
Very nice.
I had
Fun
the
area.
same exact Jimi Hendrix poster
Oh, yeah?
in my bedroom as a teenager.
that's so cool.
That's
I actually got
awesome.
that from my son because he started playing guitar when he was younger. He actually still plays. He just played for me the other day. He's doing
that's
great.
awesome.
And that was in his room for inspiration. And then as he got older, redid his room a little bit, more of stuff aligned to what he was doing in high school. So I stole it back.
Wow. Look at that. That's awesome.
I think the camera shifted a little bit.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Yeah, you don't need the dog's leash.
Yeah, we want to see your instrument cables.
Yeah, there you go. Much more exciting.
So, Jedd, I have to ask you, how
Sure.
are you this awesome? This is something that, just everything. We have to go and rewind and go all the way from the beginning and ask, what made you pick up the bass? And what inspired you to become the amazing musician you are today? With so much experience, too, over 40 years of experience.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've been playing a while. It's really who I am. I mean, all those years, it just gets in your DNA, When I was in elementary school, I started on trombone. And then by 8th grade, my band teacher, Mr. Berlant, who's awesome himself, moved me on to baritone horn. And about the same time, I was in 7th grade before I was getting changed over. And I was approached by a bunch of 8th graders in the hallway. And they're like, come with us. I went over to their locker and they're like, you're going to play bass in our band. I was like, oh, okay. And in the locker, they had a picture. The band was originally called Quarrel because, it could be like a fight or it's where you keep your
That's how they
arrows,
initiated him. Listen, all right, you're coming with
Exactly.
us. That's it.
And one of them was my good buddy Jim Lepresti, who's the hand panist.
Oh
in,
my
is that what
God,
you call
I
him?
gotta,
Hand panning?
I want to know so much about him too. I can just imagine. So he was part of that band.
Yes, yeah, he was the artist, and he drew, the picture, and eventually it morphed over into Centaur, and we rocked. And
Hey, my
What?
peoples.
I love
so
that.
Jimmy was the first drummer that I ever played with, and we grew up together. He lived right across the street from my grandmother, and so by 8th grade, we were playing together, and there was another story. Oh, so we recorded at this place in Bridgeport. I want to say it was PRS studio or something like that. The owner of the studio was the guy who wrote the Na Na Hey Hey song. And
Wow.
while we were in the studio, I remember he received a royalty check from Vietnam for that song or something like that. So he was a really cool guy. But yeah, that was my first rock. We did all original rock songs in the studio, and I think I was 15 at the time.
Wow.
So
Baby
yeah.
Jedd.
And then once I got to high school, I was full into playing bass. And see the inners. I got to keep pushing them in.
Okay, ultimate ears.
Ultimate
Yeah,
Eaters.
I got to talk to him. So in high school, I went to a private high school because I didn't want to keep following my older brother in his footsteps. So I went to a private high school, and there wasn't much of a music program. But I remember my music teacher there, Mrs. Irwin. I was in biology class and with her daughter, Carrie Irwin, and she was very helpful. I had to drop study hall so that I could take course, just have some music in my life. And it was a very interesting class because we did some music history and stuff like that too. And when it was time for me to pick a college, I asked my parents, hey, is it okay if I go to music school? And back then, I don't think parents knew much or cared much. So they were like, yeah, sure. And then bonus for them, I wanted to go to the University of Bridgeport. My mom was working there, so I was able to go for free.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
so
blessing.
that helped out a lot. And I think they were happy for both. They're like, oh, music and go for free. Why not? So
Yeah.
Mrs. Irwin helped me get in big time. I got another story about that when we get to the song list. But so I went to University of Bridgeport, and that's the first time I found out what jazz was, and that shaped my career. And then I went for music education because back then they tell you, you got to fall back on something. And 30 years later, it kind of makes sense. That's something else we can talk about. But so yeah, I've been teaching a lot of different levels, but currently I've been teaching for this is my 31st year. And I 21 years now. I've been in middle school band, and I did band for a few years before that, but I did do the genre music with the little ones, pre-K up through 8th grade at one point. And but yeah, and then in college I had a teacher, Brian Torf, who played upright bass, and he was just amazing. I mean, the only thing I have to say about him is I wish he kicked me in the ass more. He let me be lazy way too much, and I wish that he would just kind of held me accountable a little bit more. But I learned so much, being in college, like I said, learning jazz and meeting all these other great musicians. And from there we
Speaking
started
of,
rock
Jimmy
bands.
is in the chat. What's
Jimmy!
up, Jimmy?
Jimmy!
71. Thanks for being here. We are just talking about you.
Jimmy's a great guy. He's really like my brother. I've been working with him forever. So
That's the
and
best.
we've got a new project. Earth Patron, not new. Geez, it's 3 or 4 years old now, and so yeah, we can talk about that too. But we're trying to just do as much as we can with that and play out as much as possible.
We'll get into it. What is the new project?
Okay, so Earth Passenger, it was Jimmy's brainchild. He plays with hand pans. They're like inverted steel pans. They look like
I
little
love that,
UFOs.
Jimmy. You don't understand. Yeah.
So he's like, hey, you want to jam together? So he came up with some beats and on a looper, and he was doing some stuff on the hand pans. He's like, just groove with it a little bit. So we did a gig at a brewery in Connecticut, and I think as we're setting up, he goes, hey, do you mind if my buddy Chuck sits in on guitar? I was like, yeah, I'm of course, why not? More the merrier. And so that was the first time I met Jedd Chlebowski, who's the guitar player for Earth Passenger.
Sick.
And it's kind of, I guess you could call it like psychedelic, trippy groove. It's a lot of groove music. It's just good stuff, obviously all instrumental. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. But lately, Jimmy, in the past year or so, got a digital hand pan, which is just...
Ooh. I want one so bad.
It sounds amazing, which is important. It sounds like the hand pan, but because it's MIDI controlled and everything, yeah, he definitely hasn't cracked it all the way open. There's so many avenues he could take that down. So, but we have one album that we recorded live in Connecticut. We played at this festival, and just so you know ahead of time, anytime I need to know a name of anything on the spot, I'll forget it. So I want to say it was like Roundhouse Acres or something like that in Oxford, Connecticut. And this guy's got a yurt in his yard. And when I was setting up in front of said yurt, Jimmy's like, take a look inside. And it's a full recording studio. It's amazing. It's got such a cool vibe. Because
Roundhouse
it's
Acres.
Jimmy says.
Roundhouse Acres?
Yes.
So I was right? Oh, wow. Okay.
Zach, I hope you got home safe. I know you just came back from NAMM.
Zach Seif.
Yeah, in the
in
house.
chat.
He had
Wow,
a
back
double
from NAMM
booth.
in this, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a
Wow.
double booth in NAMM. Amazing.
Awesome.
So much good stuff. I know you've been to NAMM a lot too, right? A few times.
Yeah, I've been a handful of times. Yeah, love it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Was that story concluded, or was there a little more?
The Roundhouse Acres, we recorded a live CD that came out really well. Chris Baxter's the owner and producer and recording engineer, just did an amazing job, very supportive of musicians. So that's out. But Jimmy's also got he got signed to a European label. And so he just released a CD of handpan music, and I was lucky enough for that. He asked me to record bass on one of the songs. And so, yeah, we're just going to keep taking this and see where we can go.
Nice.
I got to check you guys out. I know you guys have shows coming up, lined up. I mean, obviously today I know a lot of shows got canceled.
Yeah.
But do you guys have a show coming up together with Passenger?
Yes, not in New York, in Connecticut, but I'll have to book some more. We sometimes play at Shrine in Harlem, so I haven't booked anything for us yet, but probably March or April. But we have, and Jimmy will correct me if I'm wrong, but March 6th, we're at Gaster Park in West Hartford, and to be determined, but it looks like, oh, where the heck is it?
I know you play a lot in Harlem too.
Yeah, that's the Shrine gig.
That's the Shrine.
So when that one comes up, I'll have to post all that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But any of the dates that I'm doing with Earth Passenger, any of the bands I play with will be on my website, jeddbass.com. So
I love the vibes. I love the vibes because meditation. I'm a certified yogini, so the whole meditation. But I have metal in my blood, so I've always wanted to do some kind of collaboration with that and the hand pan. And I do sound healing. So when I met you, I was like, I think that's why we connected, because we can do all the genres, but it's really hard to find in the metal and rock community. And it's awesome to see you guys blending all those elements, because it really sounds beautiful together.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun too. And he's such a great soul. He just came back from 10-day or 2-week trip to Nepal on motorcycle tour.
Incredible.
And,
wow.
Yeah.
I know Jimmy got some stories. I want to get Jimmy on the hot seat next. Let me know, Jimmy.
I'm sure he'll love it.
Let's get your email, Jimmy.
I want to hear the stories.
So my wife loves that I hang out with Jimmy. So the WWJD bracelets. So mine would be, what would Jimmy do? Because he's chilled me out so much. I got a long way to go.
That's like me to Luna.
Yeah.
I calm him down. I think it's you guys are both fire signs, right? You're a Leo. He's a Sag. He's a Centaur. You're a Lion. And then I'm over here like an Empress right here, like being the Virgo, motherly, nurturing. Let's take it down a notch. But believe me, I can be both.
As you can tell from our shows, how calm and collective I had to be for certain things.
Yeah, with all the things.
I'm amazed.
Setting up. Yeah, we had some great shows. The one that I enjoyed a lot was the one we did in Times Square.
Yeah,
that one was crazy though. That one we had a lot of things happen and we made it into a story.
Yeah. It was interesting, but leading up to it, not even what happened on stage, but remember we didn't have the right cable to connect.
Right.
And luckily Luna's got his act together with all of that equipment.
Don't panic.
Everything goes. I know. He's so
I don't
chill.
know how I did it.
He's like, they don't have the right board. They've only got the RCA cable. I'm like, because we're going digital. He just plugged it in and it sounded great. So I'm always very nervous for you whenever you're sitting.
You want to elaborate on what happened so the viewers know?
Yeah. So we had a show at it was
the Anachronist.
The event was called the Anachronist. It was on Broadway, 1608 Club, I think it was. And I sent a floor plan of our setup,
like
and I talked to the sound guy when we got there, and I said, "Did you get our floor plan?" And he said, "I received nothing." And I'm like, "Wonderful. What am I working with?" And he was like, "This is all I have." And it was a DJ booth, right? It was a DJ equipment. It was no mixer. It was RCA in, RCA out. I have a Behringer X32 Air, and I have no RCA cables. My routing was not set for RCA. So I was like, how am I going to make this work? Because everything is out through XLR, and it's my first time learning how to use this equipment because it's new to me. So I had to think about all right, can I route the mains out to the RCA? And everything has to go out to the RCA because there's only one input. It wasn't split. Right. So bass, drums, tracks, and vocals all in one mix getting sent into the DJ equipment, and then that's going to front of house. And then I had to figure out, all right, is everything actually getting sent?
Right.
So on the spot, I had to figure out, on the little screen I had to navigate where to route everything, and it was like one timing I had to really get it in. Otherwise, we'll be cutting into our time.
Yeah, the time crunch.
And I had to really focus in on the routing chart, the way it's laid out, and see how everything is supposed to be placed. I don't know how, but I managed to get everything routed out, and I had to rely on Christopher, who did our video,
Right.
to tell me outside, because the sound engineer had no idea on how to level a
and this
mix.
is a nice place, like in
Yeah.
the middle of Times Square. It's a nice, and we're just like, how do they not have all these things?
I was gonna give him my phone with the little mixer on it and say, "Can
Oh.
you like balance it out front, because I won't be able to hear it on stage." He was like,
Right.
"I don't know what I'm doing with this," and I'm like, "Why are you even here?"
Why are you, it's scary to hear that coming from the sound guy.
Yeah. So
So we're like,
we relied on Christopher, and he was like, thumbs up to bring certain things up or down. If it's the bass, if it's the vocals, if it's the drums, if
And
it's
then-
overall, like.
it was in the middle of the summer. It was like 98 degrees,
Yeah.
and it was a thunderstorm, so it made it hotter and humid. and Jedd is wearing a mask, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then it started drizzling somehow.
It was raining outside.
and there was a leak.
There was a leak on the stage.
And this is a really nice place.
Forgot about that.
And we're like, shit, the pedal board. And then it was just so much things that
The
could happen
outlets, the
wrong.
plugs were literally on the floor of the stage.
Yep.
If water was to
Straight
ever
down.
get near that, that's it. That's
we're
that's
done.
the end of it.
Yeah.
But we managed to get through our set. Everything turned out to be great.
Yeah.
And then despite the little technical things you were dealing with, we managed to get it to still sound good going out.
Right. Right.
And yeah, with that technical issue, we made it into our skits as if it was part of our story.
It was a glitch. That
That's really
Jedd was
cool.
a glitch.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's take some sourness and make it into something.
Was it lemon
Right.
into lemonades?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to roll with it. You got to do it sometimes that way. So, But Jedd was such a sport. And yeah, it was 98 degrees. They had a fan on us, and there was
Right.
no AC. How? And this place, like
And
I
then
said,
turned the fan off.
and then I was just like dripping sweat, and then poor Jedd on the mask. I was like, he doesn't have to
What
wear
was it 2 songs or 3 songs? And you're like, can I take this
Yeah.
off?
And he's
I'm like,
dripping.
fogging
do it,
up
do
and-
it. I know it's not
I'm like,
comfortable.
it's okay. We want you to survive
Here,
the set.
I'm gonna show you the mask while I have it, so you can see what Jedd was wearing on stage.
And with the lights, it's probably 100 degrees.
Yeah, it was pretty hot. There you go.
And
this
he had
is the cyber mask he was
and
wearing.
underneath, he had the black.
Yeah, and he had
Right, you
the
got
ski
the-
mask under it because it's supposed to block off
I
the
don't
rest of his skin. And then
I'm sorry we tortured you. Like, and it was so hot. Oh my god, even me, I was like trying to take all the layers off but it turned out the funny thing is it was the best looking set ever because it had like all these what do you call that? The background was all
it had the
animated.
LED,
Yeah.
the screen behind us. The lights were great. Definitely, if it wasn't for like the layout of the stage itself, the lighting and the other equipment was great.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that was just one of I love asking also what is the most the craziest gig you've had personally, and what did you do?
I hope it's not ours.
It's not as bad as ours.
Oh,
Was
no.
there a worse one?
No. Geez, I'd have to remember. Craziest in a good way, craziest in things going haywire.
Like things
Your
that
favorite.
was like, I was like, what? This actually happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Geez. Yeah, wow.
Don't
I have to
overthink
think
it.
about that. Yeah. I mean, things happen, and you do, like you said, just have to roll with it. I've never had anything happen as bad as what Luna had to deal with on that gig. I've certainly had things where your bass just isn't happening, so you're plugging direct into the PA or whatever in the middle of a song, things like that. I've broken strings on stage before, but again, nothing so bad that I can't continue on with the set. Yeah, nothing. Luckily, thankfully, in 40 years, nothing that major that I'm traumatized by it. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Well, you've worked with a lot of big names, like I said, Kenny Aronoff. How did you even link up with him? I mean, being a drummer, seeing him live, I'm like, wait, he had him on on an actual song, one of your
Yeah.
songs, and we were listening to all your songs the other day, and we're like, what? And we're like, I gotta ask these questions.
So I've always wanted to just play with as many people as possible, and I just that's I mean basically it. So going into college, I was like, I'm gonna be the best bass player in the world. I was 18. What the heck did I know? So and even I remember one of my good friends like, that's a pretty tall order. Oh well, that's what I'm aiming for. But then as I got through college, I matured a little bit. I was like, you know what? I want to be someone who can play with anyone. So over the years, I've subbed in symphony orchestras. I've played plenty of jazz gigs. I've done country gigs, rock, R&B, everything. And so that's that. And I play upright and fretless and all that kind of stuff. So I always wanted to be someone that can play with everyone. So then, 20, 30 years are going by. It's like, okay, I'm playing with lots of great people, but I always want to move up. And my goal at this point in my life is I want the people of the level that were on my CD to be seeking me out. So, and I'm getting close. I can tell some stories about that too. So in seeking that all the time, I've asked advice from so many different musicians. And there are some people who set up to be coaches and things like that. So like I talked to Derek Frank, who is Gwen Stefani's, he's played with Kelly Clarkson. He's currently on tour with Melissa Etheridge. Shania Twain was the big one that he did. Mm-hmm. And so there was, at one point, I can't remember the name of it, some sort of gig website that his friend had started, and you could find musicians and ask them career advice. I've talked to him. I talked to Matt Starr, who played with Ace Frehley and Mr. Big. I even talked to Taylor Swift's bass player. Well, I can't remember his name right now. See what I said? I told you, if I have to remember a name right now, I'll forget. My wife probably knows. She can type it in for me. Yeah. And I just constantly, how do you get this gig? How do you get that gig? And even friends on my level are like, how did you get that tour or whatever? Is it just auditioning, whatever? So Matt Starr at one point said, well, you can't move to LA or Vegas or where you need to be to meet these people. He's like, why don't you make a CD of musicians that you want to be associated with, that people that you would want to play with? I said, okay, how the hell do I do that? So I had met him a couple times at NAMM. And so the next time I went out to NAMM, he's like, well, start meeting people. I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you first, because then I can say, hey, I've got Matt Starr. Who else wants to be on? So when I decided to do that, I think that was in the fall of one year. And then I went out to NAMM in January, and I just made it a point to talk to as many people as possible that I would want to play. And some people were super gracious, and there were others who were not very nice. But
is it like don't meet your heroes kind of stories?
Some of them, yeah,
right,
big time. Thankfully, most of my big time heroes were super nice about it.
And that's good.
Like Doug Pinnick was all set to sing on one of the tracks, and then he ended up going on tour with one of the 5 bands he's in. Yeah. So he's like, oh, I'm a little too busy to do that. So I was like, but he was very nice about it, very cool about it. There was the people that I have negative things to say. I won't say the name because it's not worth it.
Can you make a list for me?
Yeah,
You'll be surprised. It's okay. It's behind the scenes.
But one guitar player was really cool, nice guy and everything, but he just wanted a crazy amount of money for one track.
Yeah.
So I couldn't afford that. But again, he was nice about the whole thing. And so as I'm working my way through, some of the nicest people, Kenny Aronoff was super nice. And his was easy because it was right on the website. I actually didn't meet him until a good year and a half after I released the CD. And I'll tell that story in a second. Yeah. So some of the other people, Todd Kearns I had met previously, and then I contacted him again. Again, the nicest guy in the world. And he's a great bass player and guitar player, but he also sings incredible harmonies, but I'm sorry, and leads as well. Yeah, so I asked him if he would be interested in singing on the tracks. Vernon Reid was a huge one for me because I loved Living Colour since their first album. And it was just a dream to be recording with him. And again, super nice guy. It was funny because he took a long time to get to the work. Because I don't know, he's got this band called like Living Colour or something, and I guess they were
like he's just
recording
huge.
and going on tours.
Yeah.
But I saw him after one of his shows, and he kind of did like when he saw me coming down the line, he's like, I'll get to it. But no, he was a really great guy. And who else? So yeah, Kenny, I got on the website. Gilby Clark, I ran into at NAMM.
Wow.
And again, super
Guns
nice
N'
guy.
Roses.
He was, yes, from Guns N' Roses, and he was great about it. And a couple of years later, when I was having trouble with the carpal tunnel, I put out there that I was having trouble. Oh, I remember what it was. He posted that he was going through carpal tunnel surgery.
Oh.
So I was really worried about it. How am I going to be able to play after this and all this stuff? So I emailed him, and he's like, give me a call. And he talked to me for like an hour about all the things. He's like, make sure you get the right doctor. Great guy.
Incredible.
Yeah, so that's basically what it was, is just all of those people. There are different stories with how I met a lot of them. Doug Wimbish, also from Living Color. I had talked to him for on and off for years, took some lessons from early on. And when I saw him at the story I told about meeting Vernon Reid, I was working my way down the line because I had recorded years prior with a track. I played bass on one of Corey Glover's songs. And I recorded with this other guitar player a track with Will Calhoun. This was over 10 years ago. I've never heard the track, but I did record with him. And then Vernon Reid, and then Doug was on at the end. I said, Doug, look, I've recorded with everyone in the band. I'm like, you're the only other one. Would you be interested? And he was like, absolutely. He was,
wow.
again, gracious. And he starts
Awesome.
yelling all this stuff. There's all these people around. It's the meet and greet after the show. And he's like, you know why? And he just started just heaping this praise on me. I was like, what is going on right now? Is anyone
you are
recording this?
Jedd.
but someone like Doug is one of my heroes. To have someone like that
surreal
be,
for him to say that to you, right?
oh, it was unbelievable. I had to take a step after he said that. But so on the third track on my CD, he recorded the bass part, and I played, like in the beginning of the segment, I played the bass to sound like an electric guitar. So I played the lead guitars on that track, and he plays all the bass part. So yeah, so I've gotten to record with all of Living Color. But other people, so after that CD came out, a lot of my friends were interested in releasing their own CDs and recording with these other people. How did you do it? How did you do it? Money. Anything
Get a
in this
truckload
business,
of money ready.
yeah, you got to pay people if you want them to.
It's
you know,
true.
so
You get what you pay for when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Especially at that caliber,
Yeah.
everything has a price.
So and that's why that one guy asked for so much money. I was like, well, unfortunately, I can't afford it because that was the budget pretty much for all the other musicians for
Wow,
that.
yeah.
But even from recording, thankfully, my good friend John Leonard from my band Crossroad Crooks did the engineering. He mixed it, and we sent it out to Hans DeKlein, who's a friend of his from LA. He's a Grammy-winning engineer. And so John Leonard, saved me so much money by recording it. And actually, one of the first things Vernon Reid said to me when he heard the CD was, "Hey man, nice mix job." So I had to give John Leonard
that's
credit for that one.
huge.
So, but yeah, so a lot of good stuff. So anyways, yeah, people are asking, and recording studio time, getting the musicians, like you said, Luna, especially that caliber, creating the disc and the artwork. And, I had to pay a friend of mine to take pictures for that art cover, and that I've been really milking for years now, using that picture.
Is that the one that we're using for our promo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a nice
I
photo.
got a lot of mileage out of that. And then, any promo and, there's a bass player, Mark Egan, who's from Connecticut, and I've talked to him, met him a couple times. He wrote up a nice thing about my other solo CD. And through a friend, he told us that when he releases a CD, he spends thousands of dollars on just getting magazines to review it. And there's no guarantee they're going to say anything nice. You're just, hey, would you mind reviewing it? And yeah, we're going to write whatever. But it costs so much to get that stuff out there. So and I see things online all the time like, oh man, I can't believe I can't be a full-time musician. I know maybe 4 people in this world who are playing music full-time. Everyone else has to have something to support it. And so when people are like, oh, how you like, I'm not living off of this CD. This is, I have my day job teaching to help support my music habit, basically. So if anyone's thinking about doing that, yeah, just, you hear stories about famous artists who work as, nighttime security guards so that they could be nice and quiet and write their novel or whatever. It's, Charles Ives was an insurance agent, and his music didn't get heard until after he died. So, if you want to do it, you'll do it, and you'll find a way to do it. So I kind of got off on a little tangent there, didn't I?
No, it's true.
It's all part of the story.
Yeah. I mean, we've had different musicians, from touring artists to, different levels. And some of them will tell you, like, if you're passionate about it and you expect a lot in return, sometimes you're lucky if you go on tour and break even or make a little bit of money, because it's very rare. I mean, the Michael Jackson days, the Prince days, all those musicians they had it way before. It's really hard to get to that caliber now, especially with the streaming, with so much now going on. I mean, AI is also that's scary in itself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that you really have to be passionate about, and you're gonna give a lot more than sometimes receive. But if you love it enough and you enjoy it and it's fun, it's something that you can do. I think it's a luxury. I say it's a luxury to be able to do it, as a full time. But yeah, it's also fulfilling that you're also a teacher and you teach music and you're making people do what they love, and you love it at the same time. It's something you get something from it too, because you're feeding the youth and you're making musicians at the same time, and it's fulfilling. I mean, teaching is fulfilling for me too. I know it has to sound like cliche, but it is, right? Like it is something beautiful that you're doing.
Teaching and working with the students is fantastic. I love it. I've made a lot of great relationships over the years. And I was telling Luna before the podcast that I'll tell that story in a second too. But there are a couple of students that I've stayed connected with. I've done some gigs with, which is really cool. It's all the BS up top that I could really do without. It really can make you forget why the heck you're there. Which is very frustrating, but I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I've had some amazing students over the years, and to see the talent that comes through, and the most talented ones, you don't even have to do anything. You just sit back and enjoy it, So since we're on the student and NAMM topic. So last year I submitted a couple of solo videos to NAMM, because if you want to perform at NAMM, they have a whole application process, and you send them links to some videos. And the nice thing, so that's about November-ish, I think, September, October, November, somewhere in the fall. The nice thing is they tell you if you don't make it in, which I find so satisfying because, hey, I can take the rejection. I don't like getting ghosted, because do I continue to follow up, or can I put my energies? So I like the fact that they're like, okay, thank you, please apply next year. All right, great, no big deal. So some of my students find my YouTube channel from now and then, hey, Mr. C, can we follow you? It's like, yeah, it's all music, it's fine, I'm not doing anything wrong. So one of my students last year said, Mr. C, what was that video that you posted? It said such and such for NAMM. So I explained the whole process and everything. He goes, oh, okay, because I'm playing there. I was like, what?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And you're the teacher.
I'm like, do you need a roadie? So John McCarthy is this guitar player out of Connecticut. He owns this place. He's friends with Doug Wimbish. And John McCarthy owns this place called one of the School of Rocks. I'm sorry, no. He owns Rock School, which was around before School of Rocks started opening up, because we have the School of Rocks here in Connecticut too.
Yeah.
So he, like a lot of those schools, they have the individual students, but then they put them together in bands and get them out to play. And so he got them to go out on the main stage outside on this huge stage, and the student's mother sent me videos. And right next to him, he's playing, I'm pretty sure it was Final Countdown on the keyboards. And he's got this giant, must have been like a 20, 30-foot LED screen next to him.
Wow.
There he is as a giant playing the keys while he's playing. I'm like, this kid doesn't know what a rock star he is, man.
What?
So amazing.
Incredible.
So, and then he posts pictures hanging out with Doug Wimbish, because like I said, John McCarthy and Doug Wimbish are friends. So just a couple of months ago, I'm also playing with this Prince tribute band called Purple Luscious Love with Jamie McDonald. There's a huge tie in there with Doug Wimbish. Ooh. And so Doug hosts these things called the Wimbash. and he has a lot of different acts playing and everything. So I was playing at that, and so was my student throughout. And they, he wasn't on this song, but they played 10 and 12-year-olds playing Cult of Personality, ripping it up. Corey Glover gets on stage and sings Cult of Personality with this 12-year-old on stage. Oh,
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
and you're like a
really
proud teacher. You're like, that's right. I
There he
taught
goes.
him all he knows. Everything he knows.
You see that little thing he did there? I showed him that.
right here. I love that. To see that,
I've
that's
got a
so
few good stories
satisfying.
like that. Yeah, absolutely. There's another student, Colin Poulton from Nashville, a great guitar player, and he was my first year at the middle school. He was in 8th grade, so then he's obviously moved on from there. And years later, found me on Facebook, and he was in jazz band on drums, but then he switched to guitar in high school. And the kids asked me, it was my first year teaching jazz band, Mr. C, can we do an Earth, Wind, and Fire song?
Ooh.
We can do an Earth, Wind, and Fire
Nice.
song.
What? These
else you
kids
got?
know what's good.
Yeah, and they crushed it too. And so years later, my student, and I'd seen him on Facebook, he's doing gigs and everything. He said, Mr. C, I just want to let you know I got a gig. I said, oh, yeah, I've seen you playing around and things like that. He goes, no, like, this is legit. Like, he was going on the road, and he had to bring his Social Security to get the 1099 and all that stuff. And I don't remember the name of the band. Surprise, surprise. And but I did Summer NAMM a few years later, and that's in Nashville. It's a smaller event in Nashville. And so his band is usually on the road playing in front of tons of people, and they happen to be in town, so I got to see him play there. And then about a year after that, he's like, this one's for Mr. C.
Aww.
He was opening for Earth, Wind, and Fire. So he took a picture of the
Wow.
Yeah. And then, was it just before COVID? Or just, no, it must have been about 3 or 4 years ago. I went to Nashville, and we got to jam together at this place called the Flamingo Club. That's really cool. It's just kind of, the music just keeps flowing for hours, and you just take turns getting up there without, switching your bass with the bass player while the music's still going. And he got up on guitar, so we got to play together. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
Is
man.
that like a jam night type thing, and then
Yes.
you just keep
Yep.
rolling?
Yeah, it was kind of like a R&B neo soul thing, and I got a crazy story about that one too.
Oh,
So
Yes,
we're
let's hear
playing
it.
there. It was like a Wednesday night or something, and it's their open jam, and they'd been doing it for 5 years. It's changed since because of some of the personnel, but they never rehearse. They just go up and they play, and it sounds like an album. Like, it sounds like they rehearse for hours for this, and they're just great musicians. And then on the break, you talk to who you want to sit in for, and so I did. And then the guy's playing, he just gives me a nod, so okay, get up there, switch. So I'm playing I get like 20-25 minutes in, and I hear someone go, Jedd. I look over, and it's this keyboard player that I did one gig with in Nantucket 3 years prior.
Nantucket?
Yeah, I'm like, what
What are the chances?
He was on tour with a singer out of L.A., and they did a show that night in Nashville. Must have been an early night. And he was asking the other musicians in the band, hey, man, where's a good place to go see good music? So they told him to go to the Flamingo Club. He shows up, and there I am. He goes, how long you been living here? I go, dude, I've been here for my plane landed a few hours ago. Here I am.
how long have you been living here?
But that's one of the things I love about that music is, like, you might not see someone for years, and then you get back together, and it's like, hey, it's a good friend. Let's hang out, catch up, play some good tunes, and yeah, it's great.
You circulate and you see the same people, and
Yeah.
then, it changes. Yeah, the music, especially in New York City, I feel like it's pretty condensed. Like, you see the same bands, you see the
Right.
names rotating and the scene and things like that. But yeah, I mean, Nantucket, and then like, oh, you just moved here? No, I just got off a plane.
Surprise!
So now, why do you think that is about New York with the little sections? Is it because people have it locked down? Are they gatekeeping, or is it just those are the people that are working? Or
I feel so conflicted by that because, being a New Yorker, born and raised, I feel like so much has evolved into different forms. Like, DJing is really big. And I feel like guitarists and drummers, I mean, my dad, God bless him, he let me have a whole drum set in the middle of my living room. And, living in the city, it was like, okay, my neighbors were awesome. But
Right.
I feel like everyone from the suburbs are out there looking for bands, and then they play in the city. It feels that way because I noticed that people are not picking up guitars as much or basses as much, and it's because they want to be. I feel like hip hop, rap. I mean, the genre bending. I love to see that. I mean, Sleep Token is, we cover it with you sometimes, and they have a lot of that genre mixing. I love seeing that, but it's evolving now to the point where Deftones, Korn, they're coming back up to like the main rock. Kids are gravitating to stuff from the 90s, and these guys are in their 60s now. Tool, you know.
I want to put a spotlight on Nori. Because Nori's
a big coming,
we had him on the show a couple years ago, and he's very big. He's very big on rap, right, and hip hop. But he blends it with like jazz musicians and jazz instruments and
trumpets,
rock,
kind of like Rage Against the Machine meets jazz.
Wow.
And like funk and stuff. Like it's really good stuff. So like stuff like that experimental blend of those genres, I think that's the new thing that's going to start becoming like the norm for what's the next phase of music, right? So I think for the scene of New York, I think that's going to be the transition into that type of environment, that type of music.
But then having teenagers like you and me, we have kids that are like, older, but they're also in the scene, and they're listening to our stuff. You know, I mean, these kids are wearing Nirvana shirts, and you're like, do you know any Nirvana songs? It's not just a cool
your
thing.
Your student wanted to do Earth, Wind, and Fire.
So it's like our responsibility to teach them the good stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, he likes a lot of different things, but he's like, oh, how come there's like not a lot of bands that sound like this now? I'm like, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring that back, baby. So, and also keep it, like fresh and create new sounds, But I know in Connecticut, there's a lot more of that too, right? There's more bands. It feels like the farther you go, Long Island has a scene. There's a lot of small bands.
Right.
And New Jersey has tons of bands.
Yeah. I mean, the shows that we played, we get booked with Tim through TSP Entertainment, I think it is. Productions. So a lot of his bands are New Jersey-based bands, and a lot of them are just like heavy, like metalcore. And you've played with us with them, so that's kind of like the scene that's in the North Jersey area that he's pulling from. South Jersey, I don't know what's happening down there. So I moved out of there.
Bands.
When I was down there, it wasn't great. So
more cover bands, I noticed.
It was a lot of like pop punk stuff, metalcore stuff. But it wasn't. I don't know. Not my cup of tea.
Right. Yeah, Connecticut is pretty saturated with tribute and cover bands, and which is fine. But my thing with anything, whether it's original or cover, is do it well. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bands who are like, oh yeah, we'll play, for $100 for all 6 of us, and just hack their way through things. It's like, if you're gonna, do it justice, do it right. That's all. It's not that hard. But
so
there's some amazing bands in Connecticut though.
For your students, you teach overall. Is it like theory you're teaching, or is it like what is like the curriculum that you run there?
Oh wow.
Is it very expansive? Like
no, unfortunately, it's not. Without getting too much into the weeds on it, we have a loosely based curriculum, and over the 20 years that I've been doing middle school, it's basically like, look, we have 2 concerts, and the winter and the spring concert, and I try to pick music that is going to help them grow. I mean, I don't really need to say, well, is this song, is it going to touch on the dotted quarter note, 8th note rhythms? Or I look through, and with the experience that I have, I'm like, yes, the kids are going to get better because of this. Oh no, this song is not good because the trumpets have to play a D and they can only get up to an A at this point, so that kind of stuff. I make it a conscious effort that by 8th grade, they've hit on at least 3 of the scales that they'll need. And, so every year we do 1, that kind of thing. But I only have 47-minute classes now. And by the time the students set up and then break down and then get out of there, we're lucky if we can get through our warm-ups. And because I found, especially in the past 10 years, that if I really spend a lot of time on the things that students don't like, scales, exercise,
reading.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It makes it more enjoyable for them in the long run because they can do it more easily, but they don't see that when they're in the midst of it. So I try to convince them. I always tell them it's like Brussels sprouts. Not everyone likes them, but they're good for you. So,
That's a good one.
It's a lot of just working on getting good tone and then learning the material through the songs that we pick. So it's the usual same 2 or 3 key signatures that they'll experience before they leave me. And so much of the middle school music is structured very much the same, so you'll have the bell parts that match the flute, and almost everyone starts big and with the pomp and circumstance, and then in the middle it's got the slow section where the drums drop out so everything's exposed. So the curriculum pretty much comes from the songs. They inform each other, I guess you could say. But I usually try by 8th grade to really push them to pick a pretty difficult piece. So school music is usually graded like half through 10, with 3 about our district's level for the high school. So every once in a while, if I've got a strong 8th grade, I'll try and push for a level 3. And that could be anything from high-ranging notes to dotted 8th, 16th rhythms to or just a long piece where they need the endurance or odd meter. Sometimes we'll do. I had one that I used to love to do. It was some like a Western theme song, and it was in 5/8, and you don't tell the kids, and they just do it, and they don't.
It's just more. It's like more pattern based versus knowing the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they're done, it's like, you just played something very difficult. Congratulations.
I did?
Oh, cool. It was fun.
So, you say that your classes are 45 minutes. It's like a live show, basically. Like you have tear down and set up, and you only have 30 minutes set.
So you basically have 20 minutes really to play.
Yeah.
And then half of them have to go to the bathroom and
No, go before.
Fire drill.
You must be such a cool teacher, though. I mean, you're so chill.
I try.
I can imagine you're a fun teacher, and I can see that because they keep in contact with you and they tell you what's going on, what's up in their life, and they involve you too.
Yeah, it's really nice to have that. And the other day I said something to my coworker about a student that she knows from my program. She does chorus and strings, and she's right, on the other side of the wall. I was like, oh, so and so, is getting married. And she's like, wow, you really stay in touch with these kids. I'm like, they stay in touch with me, which is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
That's
that
awesome.
says volumes because you're awesome.
Yeah.
So
we are about halfway through our show.
Wow.
I think it's time to do another
Let's see
performance.
more magic.
Yeah. So
By
everyone,
Jedd.
if you're enjoying the show, you've made it to this point, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to our channels.
Subscribe
Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. We're live on both. Be sure to throw some stuff in the comments. Ask some questions for
ask us
Jedd.
some questions.
Ask questions for us. Whatever you want to say, feel free to throw that in the comments. It's a collaborative environment. We encourage everyone to be a part of.
And we're all about collaboration too.
So, without further ado, Jedd, first off, the first song you played.
What's the name?
What was the name of that one?
That's called Gray Skies.
I love that one.
Named after Tony Gray, who I had taken a lesson with, and was listening to a bunch of his music, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm aiming for at that time, with the different loops and the feel. So that's Gray Skies. And that one was using Ableton, and I've got all these different foot pedals on the floor, including a MIDI controller, so that I can go from one section to the next. So when I started doing the solo thing, it's like, well, how do I don't want to just play chordal structures of songs the whole time, because after 2 or 3 songs, it might get pretty boring. My wife might argue that after the first song, it would get boring. But so I'm like, how can I create different layers and things that's going to keep it interesting for the audience? So with Ableton, you can program in the drum beats, and if I want, I can have the same layer of music going on. But if I want the drums to get a little more hype for a solo section, I can just press a button and have all that happen. Huge learning curve on that. This next one is called Going to Nashville, and this one was I was coming back from NAMM in 2020, And while I was out there, I was talking to the CEO of, or president, CEO, I don't know, the owner of Aguilar, and at his booth, and just catching up, telling him what I'm up to. And he's like, "Oh, well, do you ever go to Summer NAMM?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, you should come." And like I said, it's in Nashville. He said, "Oh, you should come on down. We go to this tequila bar the night before everything opens and hang out, and we could be doing some playing and everything." I was like, "I like tequila and I like music. That sounds good. Okay." So I came home, and this is the first full loop thing that I created, and it's called Going to Nashville. And then right after that, COVID hit. So I
know,
didn't go to Nashville.
2020. That's when
Yeah.
the world changed after that.
But at least I got a song out of it, and this is like
Right.
I launched my solo stuff. So this, I'm just using a looper and the bass. Going to Nashville. Going to Nashville. I'm gonna
Very nice.
That was a beautiful one.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I like that one. That was very chill,
Nice.
relaxing. I like the layering. I like
you.
the little inclusion of the little drum you put in there, hitting the pickups.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean all those things. So there's a bass player, Steve Lawson, out of England, who I've had the pleasure of meeting, and he was doing this kind of looping things, much more ambient, and he does it where he's got over 20 albums. He'll do a live show, 100% improv. He like never does the same thing twice, and from beats to everything that he's doing. And I was really impressed by that, so I contacted him. I want to know how you're doing that. Never ended up taking a lesson from him, but I just dug in. I'm like, what are the things that you need to do? And one of the textural things is creating that percussive sound on the bass, and he's done that quite a bit. So I guess I borrowed that from him. And I'm using a boomerang looper, and the nice thing about that is it comes with 3 channels, if you will, 3 different spots, and you can program one of them to be a bonus, so you get 4. So you can layer things, and then you can stack on top. So I started working with a what's the looper that everyone uses?
Is it like a boss looper?
Yeah, something like that. The one single looper. So you hit it once, and you can still layer on top of it, but you don't have different sections. And I really wanted like an A/B. Plus, on those loopers where it's just the one shot kind of thing, you have to be so precise, and that's one of the reasons I started doing the percussive stuff, because I needed to hear where the beat was. Because if you're off, a hair, it could throw all the groove off. It's really frustrating. I've seen some other ones that actually have the beats in the window, so you see the wave file. And same thing, I just couldn't get it to line up the right way, and it wasn't as helpful as I had hoped it would be. But so this is all, kind of up here, and it's not visual. But
what's the brand that you're using for the looper?
It's a boomerang.
Boomerang.
So I have the boomerang and boomerang sidecar, which gives you extra functions. So you've got more buttons. So because the boomerang looper, you can do things like one time repeat, or you can play it backwards, or you can fade out, or so many different. And you can assign. So you've got a yellow button and a green button, and you can assign 2 functions to each one. There's a long hold and a quick tap. So with the sidecar, you open up some of the other ones that you're missing out on. So
Beautiful. Yeah, I was
you.
listening to all your songs, and I was just favoriting all the ones I want to make a playlist. And I remember I was cooking, and I was like, "Ooh, I like this one." I was like dancing when I was cooking, putting love into the food, while I'm listening to his songs. So it's definitely groovy.
That CD, I guess that was that right after COVID? Yes, it was after COVID, maybe 21, 22, I don't remember. But I recorded that one at a studio here in town, coffee house recording production, something like that. And Mike Arafay is a great engineer, and he had me in, and he's like, okay, we're going to do this, but I'm going to show you what you're doing so that you can do it. Because as you can see, I've got all the logic and all that here at home. So eventually, I'm hopefully within 2026, I'd like to record a second CD, because I've got so many more ideas, and I'd like to have at least an hour of music where it's just me and the bass, and that's the most work I've got to do, because I've got like 2 songs that I can do without any pedals or anything like that. I'd like to have a set where it's just me, my bass, and my loopers, and then at least a set where I'm a lot closer to using Ableton and all that other stuff. But when I set up the Ableton, so for example, when I play at Shrine, you get an hour set, and that includes setting up and breaking down. So I have to make sure that I've got my very expensive laptop sitting on top of a somewhat sturdy table, and all my pedals on the floor, and not stepping on cables and everything else, and getting the hell off the stage before the next act is like, come on, dude, we got to get up there.
Yeah.
So it's just, I wish that there was a way to plug it all together and just put it on the stage. Luna, you could probably
That's what that's what I'm aiming for there.
Yeah.
But so far, not successful. But
so
I'm streamlining all the time.
Always super impressed by loopers. To me, they're like my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we started the podcast, and I remember seeing one of my favorite loopers, Joshua Wu, which is the one that ended up doing all the mastering and mixing of Splinter and everything, and he was on the track. He's coming out with a new album this year, and I'm hoping that he can master some of the new songs we're creating for this year and putting out an album. And it's like, to me, I was like, I saw him and I'm like, man, you have to have like a level of like geniusness in your heart, your soul, because he can do so many things at once. And so when I saw that you do that, I'm like, oh my God, like he's awesome. Like I'm always impressed with loopers. It's like being a drummer. Drummers have like to do all these things, functional, and the beats and everything. And then, I mean, it's incredible. I love it. I love seeing that. And I can just imagine the time and effort that it took just to be able to create that and make a space and go live and be in front of a crowd and just have all this stuff that you have to do. And it's in your mind, and then make sure, like you don't mess up because one thing is off, and it's like it kind of drops everything, So, man, I really look up to that.
I'm fine with, like, I tell people all the time, after all this time, I'll play in front of everybody, any style of music, whatever you got. I'll prepare so that I don't have any nerves or anything like that. I'm always freaking out about the gear and logistics. Like, am I going to get to the gig on time? Because New York traffic.
Yeah.
And like, for example, the boomerang pedals are pretty close together, and I've got pretty wide feet. So recently, like last year, I bought these Hoka's, a new thing. Hoka sneakers was so comfortable, but they got a wide toe box. So I'll go to step on something and by mistake hit the loop pedal next to it, so it's the wrong section, or you're overdubbing when you didn't mean to overdub. So that's what I'm always worried about. And like one time I did a 2-hour gig in Brooklyn at a coffee place, and I forgot this little square. It's like the size of a credit card, the external hard drive, SSD drive.
Yeah.
And it had all the drum sounds for Superior Drummer and a couple of my loops that I was using for some of the songs. So I had to make do, but you get the flop sweat going. You're like, I'm 3 hours from home.
How am I gonna do this?
Yeah. So gear is what freaks me out more than anything.
Do you have like backups? Like, do you bring backups? Do you have backups that you can use?
Now I do.
Yeah.
I've started to.
I think, who was it? Was it Scott Yule had mentioned that every time he goes and tours and does his thing, or any show, he has his main, and then he has his compact backup just in case that doesn't work out, or he forgets something. At least he has the backup ready to go.
Right. Yeah. So I have backups of cables, stands, not pedals. I mean, there's only so much you could do with that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, was it last year? So a friend of mine, Alex Bronson, great guy, great bass player. He's out of New Jersey too. And he does a lot of work with Living Color, helps them with their sounds and all that. The guy's an amazing ear. Like, I would love for him to just tweak all of my sounds here. We actually are supposed to be recording together. I've been talking about that for years, but schedules.
It's gonna happen.
2026, manifest.
So he was telling me about how Vernon Reed, actually Vernon Reed also posted this on his Instagram. He has troubles. He and Doug both often have troubles with TSA moving their gear, because they see all the wires. They're like, oh, let's look at what they're thinking about doing to our plane with this thing. And so he'll sometimes post that, oh, look at, and their pedals are just everywhere. They didn't even try and plug anything back together. But one time he had a Helix, and I forget if a cable broke off in it, or one of the switches broke off, and he had just landed, had a gig in a couple hours. So he was in his hotel room. I guess he had a backup Helix, if I remember correctly, and had to program everything he could in that short amount of time.
Wow.
I guess he got close enough, but you got to get that extra part, and couldn't take care of it until he got back to New York and all that. So it is a scary thing. And yeah, I worry about traveling with gear.
Yeah, me too.
You've got a lot more than I do.
If you ever want to brainstorm stuff like how to quickly set up, tear down, route things so that like I've been trying to brainstorm stuff for my setup, and what we've came across is that when we do get the case for all of our equipment, I don't have to unplug anything. Everything will stay plugged in. The only thing I would have to plug in is the drums and anything that's going into the board, and that's it.
Right.
Which takes the most time.
Right?
Yeah. And then Yen got a new laptop recently, so we can start moving into like the whole automation world, and then I can reduce some of the other stuff that I have to worry about and just have it run off of like Ableton or like Logic, and then that's like a new fun project I have to jump myself into.
That.
Oh, we'll definitely brainstorm with that stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, there was this woman, Elise Trow, I believe her name is, and her big thing was, and this, I think she did this when she was like 15. She did what was it? What You Do for Love, and a Foo Fighters song. And so she did it in her home studio, and everyone's like, "Oh, she just pre-recorded it and lip sync." No, she'd play a drum beat, and Ableton, it was automated to record her there, and then she picked up the bass, laid down the bass line, and just did a mashup of these two songs, and sang and played keys on it and everything. It was really incredible, and that was one of the things too. I'm like, that's one of the reasons I want Ableton is for that. The automation, so you can have it. So if I record a loop here and don't want to hear it until 3 minutes later, it'll take care of all of that. Or it'll start recording something right in the middle of a song. Let's say you play a bunch of loops and everything, and 1 minute in, you want it to just, without having to touch anything, it just records you and places it somewhere else. And I had that feature for a while, but I think it's just like a major upgrade. Like you have to pay $200 to get that feature again. So the stuff's out there. It takes a lot of time. Like my friend Alex says, sometimes you go down to practice, and my wife will say, "Oh, how'd your practicing go?" All I did was push buttons, And my friend Alex goes, "It's all numbers, man. It's all numbers." It's just, you got to make sure that this is talking to that wire and that it's actually going rooted. It can.
You got to have an engineer's flow chart just to make sure everything is going where it's going. Yeah.
Yes. That's why we always send our what we're gonna do on stage.
Yeah, our floor plans.
Our floor to the stage to the guy, and sometimes
and we hope he gets it.
Yeah, we hope the sound guy sees what he's working with, and we know what we're working with beforehand, because it can, last minute you forget something, you don't know what they have, and you have to just put everything together and make it work somehow.
Sometimes it throws, at least for me, like it throws me off how unorganized and slightly unprofessional some of these like people can be without having to have that organization. Like you're gonna have a show, a performance. Like you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You have to let the bands understand what they're getting themselves into, and that way the night isn't gonna be hard to deal with, because some of the engineers, the reasons why a lot of these sound engineers are kind of pissy is because no one knows what the hell's going on.
And they're always shocked that we communicate so much. They're like, "Wow, you really did your duty." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we think everyone should do."
Yeah.
It is a rarity. So my wife is not a musician, but she's obviously watched me go through a lot with a lot of different music, a lot of different management, and whatever the case may be. And without even having come to see us play, she's like, "Wow, Sky Museum's really professional." Like she appreciates it because she knows how frustrating it is to me. But yeah, you guys are ultimately professional, and the stuff that you send me makes it so easy for me to prepare so that I can do the best that I can for your job. And it is maddening how little the rest of the music world communicates. Like ghosting is just the norm, and when it's, "Hey, we want to sound great on your stage, so can you help us with this little bit of information?" You think that they'd want to oblige.
Yeah,
It's weird that they don't.
How hard is it just to send an email and say, "This is what we got"? Like have a template plan or something.
Yeah.
I'm just lost for words for that. Like how do people work?
Yeah, how do you work together? That's the best way is to communicate and know what we have going. But yeah, we said the same thing about you. We've gone through different. I mean, why is it that we don't have an official guitarist? And because it's really hard. Because
even though like our standards seem high, but it's only because we're very organized.
Right.
Like we want to make sure everyone has clear understanding of what they're getting themselves into, what they're going to be receiving, what they're not going to be receiving. Like you want all the logistics set out, because then there will be no questions. It's like everything is laid out for you. And if there is a question, we miss something on providing that to you, and then we'll fix that so that it won't happen again. So,
and we're in this for the music, and so the better you can get the rest of that stuff taken care of and out of the way, then you can enjoy the music more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the business part is the scariest part of it, but it shouldn't
Yeah.
be that scary because
Exactly.
it's part of the process, especially if you're going to do this full time or make a living from it. You know, if it's going to be your job, like you're going to have to expect to go through certain situations like this with contracts and agreement forms and NDAs and all that fun stuff. Like, you have to enjoy that part. And if you don't, you know, you're only going to be stagnant in where you're going to be doing whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's part of the career path. And I mean, if that's not what you're into, then fine. You know, like, do your thing.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So do you think we're ready for the next song?
No, we still got time. We got about a half hour left. So,
Do you wanna
Jedd,
play a
I
half-hour
want
song?
to know your preparation. Like, what is your ideal routine regimen? What do you do to prepare for a song that you've received that you had no idea what the hell you're
That's
dealing
a good
with?
question.
You know, like what's your start to finish process?
So like all the songs that you sent me, that I had no idea what they were.
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And honestly, it's the same for anything. Like I just picked up a blues gig in a couple of weeks, and I'll do the same thing with any new originals. Obviously, listening first. Just get a feel for the whole thing. Try to pick out the bass lines if you can, and that's why I appreciate the tracks that you send me, because I don't know that people realize, maybe it's just my ears. I don't know. So often the bass line is so buried, or if it's going right up against the guitar, but when does it deviate, you know, and is it important to the song and all that? So looking for all those little inconsistencies and just being able to hear the bass line. And depending on the complexity of the song, I will chart it out, because if I write out the rhythms and all the notes, then I have a mental vision somewhere in there, so that if I'm on stage, like, wait, what's this? And besides the pattern on my bass, I've gone through the work to mentally understand why those notes are there. So the structure, it's logical.
Huh.
So I can
Mind's eye.
follow the path.
Mind's
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of there was a counting, that middle riff.
Yeah.
And I had to listen to that probably, like, I don't know, 50 times. I'm like, oh, wait, now I hear where that pattern is. And this time it's 2 times, but that time it's 3. And that's important to remember those things. And it starts, unfortunately, as being a little less than musical in the approach, but you got to get the notes in the right place in order to do anything musical with them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just understanding. And the other thing, other than just knowing the short phrases of the song, seeing the structure of the song. So if that A section comes back or the B section comes back. And I've worked with some musicians where I'm like, hey, the way I look at this, and they're like, it doesn't matter. Okay, this is working for me. I do that with my students too. I'm like, how I understand how to play that note, the fingers on that note is, this is how my brain sees it. If you like it, use it. If not, throw it away. So that always confuses me. It's like, look, I had trouble learning this song. I'm trying to help you understand it, but you can only do so much. But and I've been using Logic a lot lately. So there's a lot lately to practice, and I'll explain how. Way back when, probably in college, I learned about this technique to practice. Because when I got to college, I did not know how to practice. I saw all these other people going in the practice rooms for like 4 hours at a time. I'm like, what the hell are they doing in there? So it took me years to really learn how to practice. So this technique that I learned, they say you only play the song that you can, or a section of a song that you're having difficulty with, at a speed that you can play it perfectly. That means dynamics, articulation, everything. Finger position, if you have to have the right finger crossing, all that stuff. So if you have to do it at 60 clicks a minute, fine, start there. When you can play it that way perfectly 5 times in a row, you go up 1 click faster, which is worse than watching paint dry.
Oh.
So you have to have a lot of patience with yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you need to modify, you can go 2 clicks or 5 clicks, but I find that when I do that, I end up having to go all the way back. If you get to the 5th repetition and you play even one little thing wrong, you back it off 1 click and start counting the 5 times again. And at first, you're going to hate it and want to throw your instrument out the window. But when you find that it gets you to a point that you can like master that really tricky lick or whatever you're trying to do, it's very satisfying, and you'll want to do that onwards. And like I said, if something's not that difficult, you can truncate the whole process a little bit easier. So what I do is especially on something like Mind's Eye, I put it into Logic, you loop that one section, and you take it down super slow. Got the click going, and you just play it until it's right, and one click faster. And it may seem like it's actually taking you longer, but you're going to get better results in a much shorter amount of time. It takes patience, but I do that a lot lately. So
That's good. Yeah, and it's crazy how after you healed up from your carpal tunnel, was it?
Yeah, both wrists.
You couldn't, you said you couldn't do anything aggressive until you healed up a bit. And
Right.
was that really hard to get back into when you were working on the song?
Well, I listened to my doctor and laid off for a while. I think it was a full 6 weeks before I can just start practicing. And then once that happened, I don't really remember with Mind's Eye how much that was in, because I had learned it before I had the surgery. And so that's the thing, is like the 25 years leading up to my surgery, everything I played, my hand was like dead numb. Like all the audition videos I sent you, like I couldn't feel my bass neck
Wow.
for any of it. Yeah. So it's been very much more of a pleasure to play now. But yeah, I don't remember. Like I said, I laid off for a while so that when I did get back in, it didn't take me too long, maybe a week to really get up to the speed that I want it to be. So
I don't think we covered how we even met Jedd.
right.
So
Yeah.
like when we were looking for a bass player, I remember we went to Funkadelic Studios, which is in Manhattan, right? It's in the city. And I rented out a place for how many hours? It was a few hours. It was
It was
a
like
lot,
4 hours.
and it was a lot
Wow.
of money to rent it.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest one that you can rent. So
Yeah,
it was
'cause
like,
we were
I don't know,
expecting
$300
people
or
to show up.
$400.
Yeah.
And we put an ad out, and we're like, okay, hopefully we have, people coming in. It was for a bass player and for a guitarist. And we got the biggest room, and we're sitting there, and we're seeing people go in. It's like, oh, and then we put it on the door, and it's like crickets. Like
Well, we had people
We
send
had-
emails saying that they were gonna be
and we
there
got
to show up.
ghosted
They
at the
never showed
last
up.
minute. They couldn't show up for whatever reason, and then we went and checked back in with them. We're like, oh well, we waited for you. Oh, and then they couldn't, but they couldn't tell us that they weren't going to show up.
Yeah.
So things like that happened, and then it was on a Saturday. So that was a day where people also do the jam sessions where they go to different rooms. So the owner came. It was Dawn. She came and she says, we heard that you're doing auditions and that it's how's it going, So he's like, she really liked us because she's seen us come there before for other
Right.
reasons. And then she says, I have a big roster of musicians. I can do a blast out and get you some people to try to see who can work it out and want to come to audition next time or
Right.
whenever you do something like this. Maybe don't rent the biggest room and the most hours, because she felt really bad for us. So
Right.
I was like, hey, it happens, it's okay, this is like our first time doing it this way in person, because you see the vibes and you feel out the person and you jam out. And him having the drums there was very, it was gonna give us that feel in
Right.
person. So it wasn't like we didn't meet in person for a while. It was like
Right.
we were communicating, and you reached out to us, which it was so refreshing.
That was from that email blast, right?
It was the email
Right.
blast,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And what made you say, hey, they look interesting. Let me give them a shot. I never heard this side before. That's why it's cool that we're able to talk about that now.
I think it was because of how professional everything looked. I mean, you had your logo, and I forget if I was able to hear any of the videos before. I must have been able to hear some of the music, because I was like, oh yeah, this is pro stuff. I mean, the sound, the look, and everything. I was like, yeah, this is, and great playing. So I was like, oh, I could totally get on board with something like this. So yeah, that's how I reached out, and I don't even know how I got on Funkadelic's email list, but yeah, I'm glad I was.
Someone shared it. Someone threw it in there. It's like, this guy needs to be on this list.
Well, I mean, it was meant to be, because somehow, you landed from the gods in our lap. And
then-
yeah, it was
so-
amazing.
So I got the information from you, and I think that was the first time that I probably said to my wife Lisa, I'm like, look at the stuff I have to do. Like, this is legit. Like, look how organized they are, and I've got to learn these songs and send in these videos. So, oh, are you going to do it? Yeah, I'm going to do it. So I sent in the videos, and you guys were very kind and said, oh, we're going to do an in-person audition. And I think it was supposed to be on a Sunday night. And the next morning I was going in for carpal tunnel surgery.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know that I'm going to really be able to deliver the way I want to, especially with the stress of knowing I'm going in for surgery the next day. Because I didn't know how it was going to go. This is the first one, and I was pretty nervous. I'm like, am I still going to be able to play after this and everything? So then we postponed it, and then a few months later,
which we were really sad about because it's like, damn, somebody finally wants to come on board, and then that happens. I'm like, great, but then we waited for Jedd, guys, and then he came back with a vengeance, and continue.
Yeah, great. And then I think you reached out to me, or
I think we stayed in touch, and we were wondering, like, how you were doing, because we had a show coming up, and we wanted to see if, like, you were okay, and if you something that we wanted to work with as far as getting you on a show, and the show would have been like the tryout type thing,
right?
But I think we still had to wait. I think we did one show, and then we waited for the next show that we would work on to do the performance. And then I think the first time we actually met and got together was when we did the practice together at that location,
right?
For the studio,
in Elmsford, right?
Yeah, and that's when we really started kind of like hashing out all the details. And then we played the first show together. Was it New
Jersey?
It was New Jersey, right? Dingbats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dingbats, that's it.
So and that was amazing. And you were so awesome to want to do the things that we were asking, and that's really
like
what it comes to, because it's like how comfortable people can be to do the things that you want for your brand, for your band, right? Because who wants to wear a mask and be
a cyborg,
have a hard time having to see their fretboard, and like you have to have a good musician,
is a professional
that knows his fretboard, that knows what he's doing, that can pedal dance, like. So.
Well, I've been in situations where people ask for nothing outlandish, but maybe wearing certain things. I've been in disco bands where I had to wear the what do you call it, the Afro wig, and so
really,
yeah. So the mask I didn't mind so much, and if everything else was like helter skelter leading up to it, I'd been like, can we just get through this gig? But since everything was professional, it's like, all right, I'll throw on a mask. What the hell? We're going to play some awesome music and do it well, so why not? So, yeah. It came from a place of trust, so why not?
And did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I wish I had a little bit more of a field of vision. But other than that, yeah.
Maybe one day.
Cool.
we're trying out different ones, different kinds.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll get a brand to sponsor our stuff and get a mask company to make that work for us.
And shout out to your wife, because she seems like so amazing, supportive, always on it, telling you the truth. Because you have a great partner. It makes such a difference if you're a musician. I don't know if we would be able to do it if we had different kind of partners that weren't each other supporting and doing the thing. Because it's not always that. We're not always that lucky. So you're so blessed. Shout out to wifey. I know she's amazing. Because it makes Jedd so happy and extra awesome to have a partner.
And the stuff she's put up with over the years. Wow.
I mean, it's hard to be with a musician. I know.
Did you vent a lot to her about certain things? Music?
Yeah. I try and pull back now. She doesn't want to hear it. But she always listened. I remember years ago we were playing at this club in the Lower East Side. Like the bouncer had like the big spikes like Mad Max and everything. And was it that gig? And she went next door to this place, and this is back when was it the 90s? So we got home. My father was a limo driver, was in the city all the time. He's like, "Oh, where'd you play last night?" I was like, "Oh, Alphabet City." He's like, "What?" He was pissed. He's like, "There's so many problems down there."
Yeah, Alphabet City.
Yeah.
And I'm loading in gear, and she's walking by herself to the deli next door. Whatever,
how dangerous, especially in the 90s.
Yeah. In the mornings, she'd follow me, or she'd come to my gigs, and then have to wait until like 1:30, 2 in the morning when I'm loading all my gear in the house, because I lived in Bridgeport and you didn't leave any gear in your car. So, and especially in the cold nights, not quite as cold as this, but cold nights, waiting for me to load the car and freezing and everything. So yeah, she's been a great sport all along.
That's awesome. We have about 20 minutes left for the show, and I want to try to bang out a couple of these questions before we get to your last song. The first question I'd like to ask is, you went to school to Berkeley.
No.
Where'd you go?
University of Bridgeport.
Ah, yes.
He said it earlier.
Yeah, no, I lost that one. I don't know why I thought Berkeley.
Oh, no, he said his mom also works there. His mom was there, and he got to go there for free, and it was awesome.
She's on it.
Yeah, I listened to
Berkeley
all the
and free
details.
rhyme.
Yeah, details. I'm the he's the big picture. I'm like the details.
Buzz distracted me.
So Jedd, I gotta talk about the basses, all your axes. What are your axes of choice, and what are your favorite babies, and do you name them?
I haven't named them. The one that I was playing is a modulus 6-string. It's got a graphite neck, and I've had this one since my last year in college. And I was playing. I forget which bass I had by the time I bought this, but I was playing a red Charvel because I wanted to be, every other heavy metal bass player in the 90s. So I was playing jazz on this thing. It was ridiculous. So I remember my bass teacher, Dave Anderson, who's an amazing bass player, had a modulus 6-string, and he'd start to show me. He's like, so if you go up the neck, you can play a chord like this. Oh, you only have 4 strings. That's right. I bust my stones on that. So my last year of school, before my final recital, my grandmother helped me out to buy this 6-string modulus. So I played that. That's the one I took on tour in Germany when I played a Broadway musical my last year that my bass teacher, Dave Anderson, got for me, which is a great gig. And let's see, what do I have behind me? So other hand. There it is a 6-string fretless MTD Kingston. It's kind of like their entry level. That one was maybe $1,300.
Is that the black one?
Yeah,
nope, the one that looks kind of like the modulus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's that I got from I think Bass Direct in England or something like that. And the reason I love that one, I use almost exclusively for jazz gigs. The reason I like it so much is I had a fretless modulus, and I thought, I love my modulus, I'd love a fretless modulus. But there's something about it, the graphite neck, that I did one gig and both of my forearms were just in pain the next day. Something about having to really push in to get the warm sound out of it. So some random person, bass player on Facebook, I forget how we ended up talking about it, but he's like, you should try a wooded neck. So I tried out the MTD Kingston and bought it sight unseen, and absolutely, it was just a warmer sound, easier to play. Nothing wrong with the other the modulus, but it just wasn't for me. And then the black one next to it, where am I pointing here? I'm backwards. So the black one is a Sadowski 5-string, and that one I bought maybe 8 years ago, custom made. So you get to pick out the pickups, you get to pick out the pick guard, and all the. I've got black block inlays in it, in the fretboard, and that's the one I use for majority of my gigs. So my 6-string modulus I use for a lot of like the progressive stuff, because it's got a really good attack. It's got a tighter tension on the strings, so especially when you got to play fast notes, the string reacts faster, so you can get back to the rhythm faster. The Sadowski has a wood neck as well, so there's a little more pliability in the strings. But it's got such a wide range of tones. The modulus has a very definitive, aggressive, that 90s growl to it. The Sadowski, you can make it sound like a P bass, a jazz bass. I mean, it's just when you sweep the knobs, it's amazing what you can get out of it. Great slap sound and all that kind of stuff.
Sadowski is the distant cousin of Chlebowski.
That's right. So I had to get it.
Yeah.
And then I have a guitar back there. I definitely have to play more guitar. And then the other way. Behind this picture of my lovely wife is a Fender Squier P bass that I put in Seymour Duncan. I can't even remember the name of it, but Seymour Duncan pickups, because I wanted it to sound like the $2,000 Nate Mendel bass from Foo Fighters. And I put a new pick guard on it so it looked like the whole thing. And like one of my friends said, yeah, it sounds like a P bass. So for like $200, I was able to get this thing used online and just do some work on it. When I thought, oh, maybe I'll start doing some of my own technical, setups and all that. And no, I'm better off practicing. I think that's all. Oh, and I also have tucked away for now. I should have set it up. An electric upright bass.
Oh yeah. Tell us
EUBs.
about that. I love upright bass. Whoa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I got my master's in classical upright bass at performance at UConn because I felt like doing 5 years of your undergrad for music education, I just didn't feel like I played enough. So I got my ass handed to me at UConn, just like, because I'd done like a year of upright bass, very little bowing. And I didn't have a great bass. I ended up getting a better one, but it's just the classical world is tough. So I got the skills that I needed out of it, and I haven't ventured into that too much. So I was playing jazz on it for a while, and even in jazz, sometimes you need that lower E flat or D or even D flat. And some upright basses have the extension, a C extension. It's just another plank of wood past the low E. So rather than get something like that, I was looking at these upright basses, and NS was a Ned Steinberger design. NS Design has these electric upright basses, and it's just the stick. So you don't need the body for amplification because they're going to be pickups. And my thought process was, well, I have to throw microphones or pickups on an upright bass anyway, so you're not getting that actual sound. And to get an upright bass that will speak loud enough in even a small jazz club, you're talking about starting at like $15,000. I've seen guys with like $30,000, $40,000 basses.
Gorgeous.
On jazz gigs. Yeah, I would love to have one someday, but I don't do enough jazz work to justify that at this point. So I got the NS Design 5-string upright bass, and same thing. It's got some pretty wide sweeps on the tone controls, so you can get more of the trebly sound, or you can get it to really sound like the woody. They have pickups in the bridge, as well as EMG pickups above that, so it's getting it right from the strings like a normal electric bass, and then it's also picking up from the wood like the in-bridge pickups that you would use on a regular upright bass.
Oh yeah, those are so gorgeous.
Smooth.
Yeah, they're great.
It's like silk.
Yes.
And also fretless basses, you play them too, and how does that feel?
The fretless bass, I love the sound. It does take a different kind of control because you don't. I find on the with the fretted basses, you push down and you don't have to push all the way to the board. As long as the connection is made, you get a nice clean tone.
Yeah.
On the fretless, I got the one with the lines because I just don't have the time to work on my intonation that much. Yeah. So I need the visual. And actually, I think there are a lot of fretless bass players like, why kill yourself? If you've got amazing ears, go for it. But otherwise, get the lines. But even still, getting to the line, you've got to really make sure that you're pushing in good enough to get a good clean tone. Because if you're even a little lax about it, you get the fret buzz when there's no frets. So it takes some finesse. I haven't spent much time on that lately because unfortunately the drummer that I play with, Ken Serio, has been injured for over almost a year now. So I got to get out there and play some more fretless bass.
And what are your top 5 favorite bass players of all time?
That was my next question.
Inspired
you think after all this time that I would actually have a list ready to go. And I guess it's always morphing. One of the top bass players, I would say the one that really made me want to play bass, was Geezer Butler from a band called Black Sabbath. Nice. That's what I learned playing bass on. My older brother had, Iron Maiden, Aerosmith, Black Sabbath, all that kind of stuff playing in his room, so that when I picked up the bass, I'm like, well, that's the stuff I'm going to learn. And
that's what I grew up listening to, all of that. Yes, my dad.
So just Geezer Butler's work is, I learned every note on all those albums. So that was probably the one that got me started there. But right behind, Steve Harris, I just had to play The Trooper and all those kinds of chopsy songs. Once got into high school, definitely Living Color. So Muzz Skillings, but once Muzz Skillings left and I started hearing, especially on Stain with Doug Wimbish and stuff, like Doug became like a huge influence all the way from back in, when Stain came up.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about him before that, but I found out quick. Once I got to college and found out who Jaco Pastorius was, not so much as far as technique, and it was more of the idea that a bass player can be more than just playing, root fifth and eighth notes, and how melodic he was. Just made me want to just approach the bass differently. How many was that?
Three?
Three, I think.
Okay.
Unless you want to add more.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Who else? Other big bass players. Like I said, you'd think I'd know. I mean, I always was drawn to the chopsy bass players like Billy Sheehan and any of those guys with lots of chops. But then by the time I was in college, I definitely was listening more towards the melodic musical types. But whenever someone was like pushing boundaries, doing something different. So when I started listening to Bella Fleck with Victor Wooten, I mean, it's just like there's no. It's almost like he doesn't play the bass, but the bass roll is always there, and the fact that you can wear two hats in the same song, just those kinds of things. And again, I very rarely learn things note for note. Especially when they were more complex. Maybe it was laziness on my part, but I never wanted to be that person. But whatever the vibe that they were coming up with, or the concept, I'm like, okay, I want to explore what I can do with that. Sort of like with the solo loops and everything. I didn't try and imitate any one bass player who's using loops or doing solo stuff, but just the idea that someone can play solo bass. How do I do something like that? But there's so many amazing. Geez, I could go on and on and on. We're going to see Michelle Ndego cello in a couple of weeks. What's her name? The other Sadowski player, Tal Wilkenfeld. What the hell?
Wow.
Where'd she come from? She's amazing. When she was 19, she was tearing shit up with Jeff Beck. And I mean, so there are so many amazing bass players out there that it's that I admire, that I'm not trying to imitate, other than their passion and their drive to do what they want to do. So I would say up into my 30s, there were bass players who were like, that's what molded what I was becoming. And then now everyone, it's more of almost like a validation of like, yeah, keep going. They're doing their thing. It's great that there are people doing that stuff, so you can ride right alongside them, kind of thing.
And what are the bands that inspired you the most to be a musician in the first place? Like your top 10 bands that you loved?
Definitely Black Sabbath, Aerosmith. Aerosmith was like my band when I was in 7th grade. I remember having my little Walkman, Sony Walkman, and I was telling my friends, hey, you got to check these guys out. And they're like, meh, no. I'm like, I don't get why people don't like these people. And that's been my, like with my musical taste pretty much up until today. Like nowadays I just suggest, and if people like it, they like it. But yeah, Black Sabbath, Dio, obviously Ozzy, is offshoot of Black Sabbath. Iron Maiden. As we got into the 90s, definitely Faith No More. In college, Mr. Bungle.
Mr. Bungle!
Mr. Bungle.
Love Mr. I was in a band that did a couple of Bungle tunes, and I remember we were playing at we would do we had some originals that were very much like a Frank Zappa. We had 2 sax players, and I'm going to have to find some tracks of this instead of you guys.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to hear that.
And someone was watching us. It was a very empty room, and 2 people were watching us, and they yell out, play Mr. Bungle. We're like, it was like 3 songs down the list. We're like, all right. And so yeah, Patton and his whole Ipecac catalog is, with Phantomus and all that stuff, and Peeping Tom. And my wife actually used to be into Mr. Bungle. We saw them at Toad's Place in Connecticut. We saw them at the Bowery Ballroom. We saw Mike Patton with John Zorn at the Bowery Ballroom. So yeah, like I said, my wife was a trooper.
Where's Michael C. Stone?
I know.
Yeah, so Bungle. Then I got into like the Pantera, and of course, in college, then you start getting into, like I said, I started learning about jazz, so I would get into, the bigger names, but I was liking Weather Report with Jaco, and like I said, Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, John Patitucci, huge. I mean, his early stuff, I still don't understand how he did most of it. Living Color was once they hit, that was the biggest band. They're still my favorite band today. I can listen to each individual member do what they do all day long. They're just incredible.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
I think that's
Primus. So that's another one. Like, I love Primus. I don't know enough about them. Like, I know their bigger hits, and whenever I hear them doing something, I'm like, I should try. Like, I've tried Tommy the Cat and Jerry Was a Race Car Driver so many times, and I'm like,
the bass is so prominent, you know.
it is so
Yeah.
cool. And how the guy he's so flippant about it. He's just like, yeah, I'm doing this amazing thing while talking into a microphone with a completely different rhythm. It's just unnatural. I don't know how people can do it.
He's a
Live
very
is great.
strange yet amazing person.
Right. And it's fun to like try to play that kind of music, but it's just to up your skill a little bit. But at some point, I say to myself, am I going to use this technique anymore? Like some of his basic slap, yeah, but some of that real strumming and all that other kind of stuff. At this point, it's not something that I want to incorporate into my music. So it's fun to work on. I always try new techniques, but it's a lot more fun for me to admire from afar.
So what is a band or an artist that people might not think that you would be into? Like, oh, well.
A guilty pleasure?
I don't like that
Yeah.
expression, because it shouldn't
Yeah.
be a guilty pleasure to love any kind of music. I mean, I love so many different types of music, but like, what's something that people might not think? Like, oh, I didn't think you would like that artist. You know what I mean? Like rap
Right.
or a pop star or something that's very mainstream. That's probably
Yep.
not Mr. Bungle. Like, you know what I mean? Like the
Right.
total opposite of that.
Dave Grohl had the same sentiment. He goes, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. If you like it, you like it. You shouldn't feel guilty about it.
Mine, everything.
There are quite a few. I don't even know if garbage is out there, but I really like Pink. I think the stuff that she does is incredible. There's some other bands. There's this one, Ali and AJ. I don't like their newer stuff, but their older stuff was real rock. Some good stuff. They were like a Disney. I don't want to say chick band, but you know, two female sisters. They would be female. Two sisters who have this band. They're still around, but their music has changed into more poppy stuff. I do enjoy Taylor Swift.
I know you told me your wife is a big Swiftie.
Yeah, we had tickets to go see her in
Oh my God.
London.
Did you have to
And-
sell any like organs to go?
Well, that's
It's
it
so
was
expensive.
getting close to it, and my wife's like, it was all her thing. I was like, yeah, of course we can go. I'd love to see a big star like that too.
She's a lucky woman.
And then last minute, it was like a month or two before, she's like, I think I'm going to sell the tickets, just because getting over to London, and she's like, it's going to be more work than it's going to be enjoyable. Now that we watched the concert, or her latest documentary on Disney Plus, she's like, she said, I kind of wish that we went, so
Aw.
the next time they come around. Oh, other guilty pleasure, I guess I could say, is Disney music. Like, I love like the music from Encanto and
Not guilty pleasure.
not
Yeah, we're
guilty.
not saying that
Another thing that I
anymore.
enjoy
We're
that
not
people
saying
wouldn't
that anymore.
We're striking that.
Yeah. Broadway and Disney type, especially Broadway music that's
Oh, yeah.
very Disney leaning. I love it, as
Broadway's
long as
heaven.
it's done well.
Yeah.
Then it's enjoyable.
Awesome.
I
Jedd,
mean, I want to go see Sade. That's another
Oh.
one that it's like people. Oh, I love her. She's
Yeah.
one of my goddesses. I love
Yeah.
jazz, and I love that you also the wind instruments like a saxophone. I know you've. What was the other one? So you play bass and guitar and drums,
A little
right?
bit of
Is-
guitar.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, all the instruments I can play well enough to teach, to get someone started on. But I tell my students by 8th grade, if you're not better on the instrument than I am, then you're doing something wrong.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I know the instruments because that's what you do in college if you're going to become a music teacher. I know them well enough to get someone started on it. I couldn't gig on them, So I do want to get my guitar playing up to the point where at least I could do rhythm gigs or something.
All right, Jedd, we're about at the end of our show. We
And
want
the
to get
last-
you to
the
play
last
our
question.
last song, and then we could do the last question after the song.
No, because we end it with the song.
You want to end it with the
Yeah,
song?
yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
So then we're going to do our last
yeah,
question,
yeah, the last question.
Okay.
and then you're going to play your song,
Yes.
And then we're gonna
That's how we
go
normally
in.
always did it. It's just it's been a while since anyone's played live, so we really appreciate that he's doing the live because then you end it with a bang. You know what I mean? Like, so Jedd, the last question, which it could be hard or it could be we can go through it really fast. I always say don't overthink it and go with whatever comes right away. The 12 songs of the soundtrack of your life. It could be the song that the first song you learned as a kid. It could be the song that you serenaded to your wife. It could be your wedding song. It could be a song that reminds you when you had your sons. And anything that really is defining the soundtrack of your life.
12 songs.
12.
Okay. I actually wrote these down, so this
Yes,
should go fast.
prepared. Yes, I love it. That is ready.
Somewhat in chronological order. So Walk This Way, I already talked about Aerosmith it's one of the first songs. But that one kind of has a double one because then Run DMC did that. And into high school, rap did play a big influence on stuff I listened to and things like that. Paranoid, because that was one of the first ones that I learned to play with a band. But also at some point at that age, I was able to sing and play at the same time. That was one of the first songs that I did. Holy Diver, Ronnie James Dio.
Holy Diver.
Yeah. That's
why I'm the singer.
Eddie from Stranger Things, that's basically me in high school. They called me Heavy Metal Jedd in high school. So
Nice.
Holy Diver,
nice.
Dio was my thing. I love Dio, all his dragons and rainbows and all that. Black Sabbath's N.I.B., and it's a little bass intro into one of their songs. So that, believe it or not, I used to audition for the University of Bridgeport. It was me and the dean of the school, who I don't think was even still there when I finally enrolled. And he's like, "Oh, it sounds good," and I was in. So I'm almost embarrassed to tell that story because I had no musical coaching as to how to audition. Teen Town by Jaco Pastorius. Again, that's just so bass driven and just technically impressive. And that was one of my first things that got me understanding who Jaco was. Cult of Personality by Living Color. Just
had to be there. Yeah.
It's incredible. Squeeze Me Macaroni by Mr. Bungle, just because I couldn't pick one song off that first album.
It's hard.
Yeah, but that one was just so funny. The lyrics are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you could just have fun with it and still write an incredible song. So I love that one. Killing in the Name of Rage is a huge band for me. And that one's obviously very timely with everything going on nowadays. My one and only love, Ella Fitzgerald, the standout on the list. That was my wedding song, my first dance with my wife. And we both love Ella Fitzgerald, and I think she's all-encompassing for jazz anyway. Keep It Greasy by Frank Zappa. That's, of course, you have to follow Ella Fitzgerald with that. That was one of the first ones. That was with that band, Punch Bowl Drive, and I remember our drummer, Frank Picarazzi, one of my great friends, was playing drums on that. Was it 15, 16 or something like that? It's a crazy rhythm, and he was playing that and singing it.
Whoa.
So, yeah. Dogman by King's X, because I just anytime I need to be like leveled, just centered, that song gets me there. Just the raw grit of it, the drive, and the lyrics. It's just incredible, and Doug Pinnick is just incredible. For 12, I decided to just name. I couldn't pick one, so the 3 songs off my album were just not the songs themselves, but the process of it, and getting to work with those amazing musicians, and the fact that they would agree to record my songs in so many different ways just boosted my confidence and just letting me know, I was on the right path. So hopefully I still am.
Nice.
Yeah, you are. You're incredible, Jedd.
You did it!
Amazing.
I gotta get that sound effect.
So everyone, thank you all for hanging out, tuning in, watching, enjoying us and Jedd for this awesome podcast. If you're listening, be sure to follow Jedd Bass. Jedd, tell us where everyone could follow you.
My handle is Jedd Bass on all the social medias, or, well, you don't need Facebook, but on Instagram, Twitter, not Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, that's the one, at Jedd Bass, JeddBass, and JeddBass.com is my website. geared more towards the professional world right now, but I do have a page for people if they want to see sign the mailing list or see when my gigs are.
And you're currently for hire.
Yes, always.
So if you guys need bass on any of your tracks or live shows, if you're in the, I guess, tri-state area? What's your distance?
Sure, tri-state area or wherever you want to fly me.
All right. Well, if you need him, you know where to find him. Reach out to him, and he will do you justice for sure, because he is an amazing, amazing bass player, and we're so happy to have him work with us for the things that we've done. And aside from that, be sure to follow our podcasts, follow what we're doing. We do not have a guest next week, but we will be live talking about music news, maybe reactions. Send in some of your equipment. We would love to check out some of your equipment that you're using, and then we can review it and talk about it. And you could be part of our show for next week on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, YenYorkCity Live.
On some meditation streams too. So
we'll be working on some meditation streams.
Be doing that. Me and Luna had tried to do looping and streaming with the meditation thing, and it was pretty fun. I mean, I can't wait to see what 2026 is in store, because we got a lot of cool stuff. Jedd has a lot of cool stuff. Jimmy, we got to contact you, because I really like what you're doing too. Thank you so much, Zach, Commanding Drums, Prime, for being here, everyone listening, and also on YouTube and Twitch. We appreciate
and
the love.
Spotify now.
And Spotify.
We're loading everything up on Spotify, so you should be able to listen to us on there, and on I believe it should be pushing it out to Apple Podcasts through there. So if you're using those platforms, you can also listen to our new stuff and some of the older stuff that we're going to be populating in there soon. And if you would like to support us further, aside from liking our stuff, subscribing, and sharing this to your friends, become a member. We have a membership plan open now, and we're going to be posting stuff for members only. We're going to have your name on screen, and you're going to be a part of our development and our growth, and you'll have some exclusive stuff happening for you as well.
All right, Jedd Chlebowski is here closing it out for us. And what is the song that you're going to play, Jedd?
There's no turning back now, even though I had my back turned to you. What I say earlier about the technology working, somehow I just dragged that file into a different folder, so I was just looking for it. That's why it's taking so long there, but we should be good to go.